And here is the woman herself to tell us more about her new series that shines a light on women in science. It's writer and broadcaster Dee Gilhooly.
Just to clarify, by the way, some viewers may mistakenly think that your second name is Hooley and your first name is Deagle. In actual fact, your second name is Gilhooly, your first name is Dee. That's a full name, not an initial.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Wicked to be here.
Cool.
So you're perhaps best known as one of the regulars on Radio 4's Woman's Hour.
Which, by the way, guys, well worth a listen.
Oh, I wouldn't have had you down as a fan, Alan.
Well, it's a curious story. I was actually stuck in traffic and Classic FM were playing music from an advert which I dislike. So I found myself listening to Woman's Hour and I thought, this is actually good.
Tell your friends.
I did. I told 10 men and they will tell 10 men and they will tell 10 men to tell 10 men to tell 10 men. It sounds like the kind of song you'd sing on a coach trip, but it's actually true.
Now, your radio series focuses on trailblazers and groundbreakers in the field of science.
Bang on, yeah. It's a chance for some brilliant, lesser-known women to have their stories told, you know what I mean? So, with all due respect to your Ada Lovelaces or Rosalind Franklins, we're going to be looking at women under the bonnet, as it were, the fuel in the turbocharger.
Because there's some fascinating women here. We're talking Vera Rubin, Nettie Stevens, Cecilia Payne. I mean, brilliant women.
Oh, kick-ass women. Yeah, Cecilia Payne's actually is an amazing story. A British astronomer, got her doctorate at 25, boom. And she wrote a paper on the composition of the stars, but was persuaded not to publish it by her colleague Henry Norris Russell. Years later, her findings were published and credited to, you've guessed it,
Henry Norris Russell?
Bingo. You still with us, Alan?
Yeah. So I'm sorry to... Actually, it makes me physically sick to say this, but I was miles away. Which shows this is a real problem within men, isn't it? What I will say, the purposes of clarification, is you don't put fuel in a turbocharger. It's a small turbine housed within the exhaust that utilises excess gases, loops them back round, increases power output. So small capacity engine, big hike in power, very efficient. That was told to me by an engineer in oily overalls called Karen. Woman.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Well, because women in jobs like that have to put up with their fair share of jeering, you know, even now in 2018, and they just have to accept it.
If I can just speak as a male, I'm sorry, I have sinned. I've stood on the pavement with other men and slow hand clapped as I watched a woman try to parallel park. And that's wrong. And I think if I saw the same thing happen today, I would just, shout out instructions.
Or just leave her alone.
Yeah, I'd shout out instructions or just leave her alone. I'd ask her which she prefers.
Or just leave her alone.
Or just leave her alone. Yeah.
These issues need to be aired by women. We're still seeing powerful men harassing women when all they want to do is do their jobs and be left alone.
Amen.
Hey, women. I mean, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I wouldn't do that unless I was your doctor or your boyfriend. But I totally identify with what you're saying.
Well, I think the Me Too's a woman thing,
Yeah,
really, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure it's that helpful for a man to presume to know what that's like, to be honest, but anyway.
Of course it is.
Yes.
If men actually listened to what women were saying on harassment, then they'd shut up and listen, but they don't. So we're still seeing the same things time...
I've been sexually harassed.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware.
It's not quite the same thing that women have been through, but it is a bit. And there we have it, a brief but fascinating exchange between Jenny Gresham and the Princess Royal. Plenty to unpack. We learned Her Royal Highness is, in her words, very well, and pleased that she could be here. She went on to describe her duties as varied and talked about her affection for her family. Good, solid stuff.
Now, though, it's time to hear from you at home, as we ask for your thoughts on what the future holds for Britain's favourite family. Of course, we've also been asking for your encounters with royalty, and don't forget to share your tips on modern-day etiquette. Keep those coming in. And tomorrow, should we scrap HS2?
Jesus Christ.
Well, we do need to hear viewers.
Why? Why do we need to hear from the viewers? Tell us what you think, join the conversation, get involved, share your views. Is it snowing where you are? Do you like fireworks? What's your favourite soup? Who gives a shit?
Excuse me, apologies for the language there.
Michael Gove said we've had enough of experts. Do you know who I've had enough of? Idiots.
I'm not sure I'd call our audience idiots.
Look at the tweets, Jenny. I mean, read the mailbag. Everyone at the BBC thinks it. They never say it publicly, of course, but behind closed doors, whispered in the corridors, that's where you hear the truth. They think Countryfile is boring, they don't understand darts, and they don't really care about your opinion.
The BBC is committed to letting ordinary people have their say.
There's nothing in between. It's either BBC 4 Live from the Hay on Wye Book Festival, or other people telling us they think dogs are better than cats. You feel like throwing open your windows and saying, I am hopping mad and I want something in the middle.
Are you finished?
Julian Fellows. I don't like Julian Fellows.
What's that got to do with your argument?
Nothing. I just don't like him.
Well, I'm sure, Simon, we have plenty of viewers getting in touch with their royal story.
Well, actually, we're getting people shouting Alan's slogan from their windows and tweeting in to let us know. Let's see, we've got Bournemouth, I'm hopping mad, I just want something in the middle. Southend, I'm hopping mad, I want something in the middle. Same with Warrington, I'm hopping mad, something in the middle. Hull.
I've touched a nerve. Anything from London?
Nothing from London, no.
Well, we're in London. Let's go and have a look. Terry, come with me. Simon, do you want to come?
No.
I'm sorry I clouted you.
It's all right.
Everyone, go to your windows, open your windows, and just shout out at the top of your voice, I'm hopping mad and I want something in the middle. This way. Follow me, sorry. I can hear them now.
Okay.
Keep shouting. Keep shouting. Hey, you. Say that again. Say the whole thing. Right, so you get that. Cheers. Cheers! Good. They're all saying it. Hey, yeah, all right, whatever. Fucking idiot. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Anyone else hopping mad who just wants something in the middle? No, we can't count you twice. Anyone else? Any more? No? I mean, that's 3 people. They say for every person who complains, there's another 20 who silently agree, so that's 60 people in this area at least. Minimum. You roll that out across the country, it's got to be 1 million. Hilary Couchman, Dr. Hilary Couchman. How long have humans been swearing?
Well, curse words or vulgarities go back really as far as language itself, but when it comes to written English, we find profanities cropping up from the 13th century.
So, something like this, should I wear gloves to handle
The
this?
protocol is that the curator handles the material.
Oh, OK, right. I'm pretty sure I've seen Dr. David Starkey handling stuff like this on TV, and I've even seen them let Tony Robinson have a fiddle.
The protocol is the curator handles the material.
You said that. Do they ever let you guys go to an area just to relax? Because they should do. Maybe that should be part of the protocol. Swearing, swear words.
One of the more prominent words is the word f***, but c*** too is also common across the Germanic and Scandinavian languages. Yeah. We also find uses of piss,
Well, beeps out. What areas would these profanities emanate from? I'm thinking Manchester, Liverpool.
No, from across the whole country.
OK.
Now, what we have here are parish records from Drayton in Shropshire.
When would that be?
1295.
That's what these trousers cost.
So, what these documents show is how the earliest instances of swear words were typically found in the names of places or people. Mm-hmm. So, surnames often describe what someone was or did.
Right.
Here we have a listing for Henry F***a-beggar.
Goodness me.
Now, back then, the word f*** didn't have its current meaning.
Okay.
It actually referred to hitting or striking.
Right, good. Well, hence the phrase, let's hire some Albanians to f*** him up.
So there are terms that have fallen out of use. So here in 1740, we have the term Rantalian, which means one whose scrotum is so relaxed as to be longer than his penis.
One wonders whether that's due to a truncated member or distended testes.
Well, I guess it's just chicken and egg. We also find some fairly vulgar slang words for penis, such as beard splitter and arse opener, whilst fellatio was known as bagpiping.
Oh, makes sense.
In the 1785 book, the Classical Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue, we find the term to huffle. Would you like to have a guess at what that means?
Oh, gosh, I'll have a bash. to Huffle, the act of putting my head between a lady's breasts and huffling, you get the picture.
No, it's another word to fellate.
Right, okay.
I always find it amusing when I ask people that question, what answer I'll get.
Right, well, that's an interesting part of the protocol. Thank you very much, Dr. Hilary Mantel.
Couchman.
One who likes to squat over another...
It's my surname.
Right, yes, of course. Less morning has broken, more morning has soaken, since every morning I have soaken or soaked my bed with perspiration. For this is the night sweats. This is the amount of sweat squeezed from the pillow of an ordinary sleeper. It's empty. This is the amount of sweat squeezed from my sheets after they were passed through a mangle. For I have the night sweats. But it's not just sweat I'm lying in, it's shame. I'm tired of waking up twizzled in damp duvet. Something needs to change. Gay. So, I've come to the blandly named West Sussex Sleep Clinic. After filling in a needlessly detailed questionnaire, it was time for Jim Jams and watery squash. These are my co-sleepers. Hi, Janet. They are amongst the worst sleepers in Britain. They are absolutely hopeless at it. But the chinwag over a glass of squash reminds us that we're not suffering alone. But our collective lack of sleep has rendered us all pretty irritable. Malcolm there in the green sweater thinks he's the bee's knees when he's not. Janet seems to think we want to know all about her. And Paul, Stripey Paul, is sad because he's got a dead dog. I'm going to make my excuses before someone gets chinned. Back in my room, with my head sporting more cables and lights than my assistant's modem, I was ready. And so to sleep, perchance to sweat. Fascinating stuff, and I'm joined by the clinic's sleep disorder consultant, Dr. Susan Lyle. Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
You took a peep at my sleep. What did you reap?
Okay, so yes, reviewing that night, so we can see that you were really quite restless, yeah, and quite fidgety here as well, but that's really very common, especially with light sleepers. It's really the brain's reluctance to enter into sleep mode.
Busy.
But it's also a sign of stress and anxiety as well, which we know can be a key cause of heavy nighttime perspiration.
I'm just going to spool on.
There's a moment coming up here, which is something I think you should see, because what happens round about 1:30 is you enter something called stage 4 of NREM, and it seems that the cause of your night sweats is actually a different condition.
What?
I think what we're seeing here is parvor nocturnus, or night terrors.
Oh my God. The last time my legs flailed like that was in a tent during an altercation with what I can only describe as a very big bee.
So what sort of thing do you have nightmares about? What scares you? So you've not been involved in anything traumatic or upsetting?
I recently abseiled down the side of the Shard for charity.
What? When?
Or was that a dream? I was doing it for the RSPCA, so
Yeah,
so
that
it
would
must
have been a dream. Must
yeah,
have been a
yeah.
dream. It's very disturbing.
Don't want to talk about him anymore. Tell me about you. You work at the clinic where I went, but I didn't see you.
Oh, no, but I could see you on the monitor.
Ah.
Well, I've worked there for 12 years, so yes, I've watched thousands of people sleeping.
Right, and do you enjoy it?
Yes, I love it. It's very rewarding.
Right, and why?
Well, something about observing patients as they sleep. I feel like I'm a guardian angel, watching over them, protecting them.
But how are you protecting them?
Well, in that they're in my charge, so I could harm them, but I choose not to. So I suppose in that regard I'm protecting them from the darker side of human nature that is within us all.
Susan, great having you on the show. And I don't have any more questions. Simon, do you?
No.
Good. I'm going to let you go.
I'm happy to talk
Nah.
more. You don't want me to stay for the phone?
Nah. Instead, let's talk to viewers and ask, what do you dream about? The lines are open, so tell us what you ponder in the land of Nod.
So, drama therapy. It's therapy that uses role play to help people work through difficult or challenging situations.
Well, like therapy, good drama encourages us to look inside. It helps us to understand our own behaviour and deal with emotional issues.
In fact, Simon was telling me earlier that Aristotle coined the term catharsis to describe the healing we experience through drama.
Hubris Nemesis, catharsis.
Well, it's all Greek to me. Thought I'd do the joke this time, seeing as Simon was being a bit serious.
But what kind of problems does drama therapy help to confront?
It's very versatile. Marital strife, workplace disagreements, psychological trauma. Drama therapy is not always easy. It can be very challenging and sometimes tearful, but it should always feel welcoming.
I think you just described the pub quiz I go to. You see, you should be saying this. Catharsis.
Now, I believe we're going to see some drama therapy in action.
That's right, Jenny. Over here, we have two actors, Daniel and Louise. And in a typical therapy situation, they would play out scenarios that couples can try themselves.
Right.
Now, in this scenario, Louise thinks that Daniel is emotionally closed off, but Daniel feels that as he's getting older, he does need more space. Guys?
And you wonder why we never resolve anything. It's because we argue, and then 5 minutes later, you get upset and I have to back down.
No one's saying you have to.
But that's what happens when you play that card.
It's not a card, Daniel. It's how I feel. Just because you're a closed book doesn't mean I have to be.
What am I supposed to say to that?
You should tell her that... Sorry, that's...
No, that's fine. Do you want to jump in?
Oh, me? God, no.
Yeah, no, please do. Step in for Daniel.
No, it's just... I've not acted for quite a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realised you'd acted.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just with North Norfolk players, a bit of acting, producing, directing. Most recently, A Few Good Men.
Oh,
so,
amazing. What part did you play?
The Jack Nicholson role, so yeah, bit of a tough act to follow, but I just tried to do it sort of, you know, like the truth. You can't handle the truth. Yeah, so I sort of went higher, and then I did the scoff at the end, which I don't think Nicholson thought of. So,
Well, how would you feel about having a go at this scene?
yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, great. OK, Daniel, you step out. Louise, you're in the kitchen, you're making dinner. And Alan, start a conversation when you're ready.
Okay.
Don't overthink it.
Okay, yep, right. Smells good.
It's just spag bowl.
I didn't mean the dinner.
Well, you never normally come in till it's cold. I'm sorry to go on. I just don't want you to feel like I'm complaining because I want to spend time with you.
Hey, baby girl. Just been out on my bike. My motorcycling's important to me. You know that. But you know the best part of the journey? Riding that steel horse back home to you.
Try it without the accent.
Me or her?
You.
Okay, but the general direction...
Forget all that. Both of you sit at the table.
Okay.
Now, let's just pretend that she's your actual wife.
Yeah. Look, I wish I could spend more time with you.
See, I hear you saying that, but I don't feel it.
Then we'll figure something out, but you're going to have to stop going on at me. I'm sorry if I've got a gift that people enjoy and I find very satisfying. I'm sorry that you don't have that because for some reason God didn't give you any talent.
Shall we stop there?
Yeah, that felt good.